You know what time it is. It's 9 to 5 with Gavin and Mike. In this short, sharp, sweet snippet of insight, we'll be talking about why accountability is important. But before we do that, drop the intro.
Konnichiwa. My name is Gavin Masumiya.
Nice to see ya.
I'm a mindset coach based out of West LA.
And I'm Mike Aheirwe.
You hear me?
I'm a Transformational Life Coach from London.
These recordings are short, sharp, sweet snippets of insight for anybody hustling a 9 to 5.
That's right. You can tune into them on your way to work, on your lunch break, or on your way home after a long day's hustle.
So Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing solid from one side of the world to the other.
I love it. It's 9 to 5. Stand where you are, 5 where I am. Hence
It is,
9
man.
to 5.
And you know, much like this topic, like every time we meet up on Tuesdays, you know, to create these recordings, man, that's a form of accountability in itself, you know. And so even just to slow it down to the fundamental component, and I got my timer ready. First off, like for all the listeners, like what and watchers, what is accountability?
Yeah, that's a good question. So accountability is the condition of being held accountable or responsible. So in effect, it's responsibility. So it's not just taking on a task or a goal. It's also saying, I'm going to do it and I'm going to be responsible for doing it. And if it's done or if it's not done, the buck stops with me. I'm going to be held responsible to myself and to the wider team or to my family or to my friends or whomever I'm collaborating on this particular goal with. So that's what accountability is.
Got it, man. Interesting. And you know, the thing about accountability is that there, you know, they'll have people out there who's like, you know, accountability, you know, the whole state of being responsible and somebody else actually holding you to account. It's like, I don't need that. Like, you should be able to do things on your own, you know.
Right.
Like rely on your own willpower. Like why rely on somebody else to babysit you, to hold you to account? Like that's some sissy shit. Like what is this? You're right. I mean, there's people out there just like, you don't need, why should you need that? Why should you hire coaches and that? So what would you have to just say for people who have that kind of like thinking where it's just like, no, I'll do it myself?
Yeah. You know, and that's a very good point, right? That's a very good point. And this is something I hear a lot with some of my clients who are like, right, I really want to do this, but for whatever reason, the motivation is not quite there. And what I've realized from working with a ton of people and even for myself is that we've all got a set number of strengths and a set number of weaknesses, right? So you might have one person who's got a really strong will and they can get things done and they're very practical and they're very grounded, but maybe they don't have so much drive or ambition, or they don't see that big, you know, North Star goal, right? That's one person. But then you might have someone else who's a visionary, right? They can see that bigger picture, that big North Star goal, but maybe they don't have the same attributes of being practical and grounded and just like churning away and getting things done. So people are different, right? And for some people, being held accountable really helps them to actually put the work in. And another interesting point is we can be held accountable in many different ways. So for example, you know, you might be in a relationship and you might know that something needs to be done, right? And subconsciously, you know that you are accountable to your partner or your other half, right? The conversation has not been had. It's not been made explicit that you are accountable to me and I'm going to hold you accountable. But somehow you might know, if I don't get this done, it's going to not only affect me, but it's going to affect my significant other, maybe my family, maybe my kids, whomever, right? So that in itself is a form of accountability. It doesn't have to be so explicit. And the thing is, like, especially in the coachee context, oftentimes that client is the only person that knows they're working on that goal, right? So they don't have anybody else that they can speak to and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And so they don't feel that they're necessarily accountable to anyone else. So sharing it with your coach and having a coach make the client accountable is a really cool way to just externalize that, right? So you're not only accountable to yourself, but you're also accountable to your coach or to a friend, right? Sometimes I have one of my friends, and we partner up, and we call ourselves accountability buddies, right? Not study buddies, but accountability buddies. And I'll say, this is what I want to do and by when. And I'll be like, can you hold me accountable? And she'll do the same for me. So that's what I'd say to people that say, why do I need to rely on someone else's wall? I just think people are different and people have different skill sets, different strengths, different weaknesses. And if you know that you are somebody who sets a goal down, but then for whatever reason doesn't follow through, then just introducing this element of accountability could really boost your productivity.
Yeah. Definitely, man. And so I have an accountability buddy that I talk to on Mondays from Canada, right?
Nice.
And then I also have my coach too for like bigger goals. And what I found is why I continue to continue hiring coaches for the past 5 years, and why I will continue to, man, is just like from this, from my humanness, man. I just noticed that when I'm not feeling good or like shit really hits the fan, dude, I will sell myself out.
Right.
I won't not do things I know to do as a fucking coach, dude. And so like I will pay somebody who is that I really respect their character and their ability to ask questions, and where I communicate, this is what I'm up to, this is what I'm committed to, so that when all these things come up for me, man, I like they will not sell me out. You know, they will be like, they will remind me of what I'm committed to, and that's so, and remind me of my motives, and ask me like, why did you start coaching again? Or why is it that you're in this relationship in the first place? What first motivated you? And so it's huge, man. It's so huge to have. And I'm so proud to actually have external accountabilities in place. Totally.
And I would just challenge people who question this idea of accountability, and just ask them, do an A and B test. Do a test where you're not accountable, i.e. you are not responsible, i.e. if the thing you say you're going to do doesn't get done, and no one's going to hold you to account, or you're not going to feel accountable for it, and then test that with another scenario where you are held accountable either by someone else or to yourself. And even holding yourself accountable, like, if I don't do this, then I'm going to forfeit myself in this way, or I'm going to sacrifice this, and that's being held to account. But if there's no consequence for your actions, then you're not really being held to account. So I'll just challenge those people to just do an A and B test, but also just to see the things that they're doing, and just see, are they sure they're not being held accountable in some way, shape or form? Because the likelihood is they are. It may just be subconscious.
All right, guys, you heard it right there. A great just takeaway for those watching is have that do that like split testing, man. And or girl, woman, whoever you are out there, like start off with doing it for like a certain period of time where you don't have any like accountabilities in place, and then try it with accountabilities and see how, and then actually do a reflection to see which one was more effective for you, which one helped to propel you forward more. And that's a good way of just broadening your scope for your own self-awareness. Totally. And with that being said, we made some good timing right here.
Nice.
And with that being said, boom.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you dig 9 to 5 with Gavin and Mike, be sure to like,
comment,
subscribe.
Yo, and wherever you are in the world right now, good morning,
good evening,
good night.